obviously to walk around, try to burn some fat off. Not more to it, but we'll talk about a bunch of stuff. So today's Apple event. What do I think about the new Apple MacBook Pros? So curiously enough, Apple released several different things today, and things I'm interested in are the computers. Now, I don't know if y'all noticed, but when they were in the little lab area with that engineer guy, and he was unveiling the new Apple Silicon chips on the desk, it appeared to be a widescreen like iMac Pro or something, but I think that was just kind of a tease. What Apple released today was the 14-inch MacBook Pro, also a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and the 16-inch MacBook Pro has the ability to go all the way up to 64 gigs of memory, which is, for most use cases, probably very excessive. But I felt that the price for these systems, if somebody was in a situation where they didn't want to have two, in my case, I used the original MacBook Air M1, MacBook Air, 512 storage and 8 gigs of RAM, and then I also used the iMac M1 with 16 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage. So for me, that's the perfect duo. I've got the field computer, I've got the studio computer, and obviously the iMac Apple Silicon has amazing display, 4.5K. So I feel that's the perfect duo. Now, if you don't want to have two Macs, I think you could do all right with the 16-inch, kind of as a desktop replacement of sorts. You could always plug in an external monitor. Now that creates the rub right there, because if you get that MacBook Pro and you plug in an external monitor, at least currently, there's not a monitor, to my knowledge, that you can get that's as good or better than the integrated screen on the iMac Apple Silicon. So, the laptop display itself is good, but if you want a larger external display that's going to come close to the performance of the iMac's integrated display, it's going to be hard to find. So for that reason, for me personally, even though it's still currently, at the time of filming this live show, is the original Apple Silicon chip, which is the M1, plenty fast. I shred through 4K video edits with it. So for me, it's fine. But, it's a situation you got to decide, okay, do I want to get one or two computers? If you're comfortable with one computer being your office computer and then also your portable, then I think the new MacBook Pros that released today, make a lot of sense. But with that being said, I think there's a lot of power that people are overlooking just in the standard MacBook Air. It's small, it's lightweight. It's got the original M1, which is what I use. It's blazing fast. So I think, it's easy to say, okay, well, Apple releases new systems today. My current Mac is obsolete, and that's not necessarily the case. I mean, these are, it's, I don't know. I'm excited to see an iMac Pro of sorts. It has the new Apple Silicon chips. I think, that could be cool. Get something extra powerful. I mean, for the field, honestly, again, I mean, the MacBook Air with only 8 gigs of RAM and 512 storage is more than overkill for most workflows. I mean, unless you're editing some sort of crazy futuristic video format that I've never dealt with, which you could be. You could be some sort of Hollywood film producer, and you could have cameras that are super duper high end. I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know what your business is, because I mean, there's all sorts of people, from the bottom tier all the way up to Fortune 100 companies. So who knows? But yeah, they look cool. If I didn't have, honestly, if I didn't have an Apple Silicon Mac yet, I would personally still go with the iMac. And the reason is you get that incredible display. You can get up to 16 gigs of RAM, which, don't confuse yourself. In the Apple Silicon space, 16 gigs of RAM, and I can attest to this because I had the top of the line MacBook Pro when I used Intel. It was the i9, and it had 32 gigs of RAM. But I'll tell you, even my humbly equipped MacBook Air M1 with 8 gigs of RAM and the M1 Pro of my previous MacBook Pro with Intel i9 and 32 gigs of RAM. So you can't compare the two because the two are, it's completely different architectures. You've got Intel and then you got Apple. And Apple was just they downplayed their original Apple Silicon chips, the M1, because I don't think they wanted to upset Intel and basically just say, hey, Intel, we're so much better than y'all. Here's our initial Apple Silicon offering, and the performance of it grossly trumps the performance of your top of the line Intel chips. They didn't want to do that, but the reality is that most people, if you use an M1, you're going to be set for probably at least a few years, I would think. My upgrade frequency for Apple is around every 2-3 years. Just depends. If they come out with something radically different, like they did when they switched from the Intel Core i9 to the Apple Silicon, that for me justified an upgrade. So, I made the transition, and I'm glad I did. I've never looked back and said, oh, I wish I had Intel on my Mac. Not just the performance, the thermals, how warm does it get with the laptop? How's the battery life? Battery life on Apple M1 MacBook Air is incredible. It grossly trumps Intel. So, those are my opinions. But I think if you don't have a Mac with Apple Silicon yet, I think if you wanted something that's even a little bit more insanely fast, I think that either the 14-inch or 16-inch would be fine. Now, that's my opinion. I'm not Mr. Hollywood or anything. I'm just some guy with a YouTube channel, Irish Guys Adventure channel, where you're watching this. So, take my opinions for what they are. But again, I am excited about the upcoming iMac, with a bigger screen. 24 inches is fine. For my workflow, 24 inches is pretty big, and actually it provides value because it doesn't occupy as much desktop space as a 27-inch iMac or, an ultra-wide, a 30-plus inch display. So, there's a value add there, especially if you're not wall mounting your display. And then when you do that, cable management concerns come into play. So then you got to route your cables to make it look neat and this, that, and the other. So it's interesting. But yeah, so Apple's launch event was today. DJI is releasing something this week. I'm going to be all over that. Pretty excited about the DJI release. For me, it's the it's the DJI Action 2, the camera that I'm particularly interested in. I'm not too stoked about the Mavic 3, I'll admit it. I just, with Mavic Air 2 S, it's just kind of what you need, and I don't know if I need a Mavic 3. I don't know, what do y'all think? Y'all think we do? But, yep, just walking around, I always get crazy stares because I'm walking down the street live streaming. I don't care. Abandoned parking lots, empty grassy fields, who cares? It's what you want to do. So, yeah, it's it is interesting though. And let's see what else is coming out. Nas says, "Hi brother, watching from London." Aha, London. That's a cool place, man. That's a place I want to go. I've got once all this virus stuff clears, I want to get over there and check out London. Thank you. Yeah, walking is great, man. I mean, it's an essential activity. I mean, it's easy. It's good for the, getting some cardio and this, that, and the other. You just got to maintain that. Close those, as they say on the Apple Watch, close those activity rings. That's what I'm doing. I'm closing my activity rings. Out here burning some fat, man. That right there is the motivator, my gut. You get fat, you got to burn it off. So, but yeah, I mean, that's right. Nas, that is right. So, yeah, London, man. How's the weather over there in London? That's a cool place, man. I've been halfway over there. I've been to Bermuda a few times, and it was cool. I mean, it was kind of like it was a British island, and it was it's a neat place. I want to go back there. Definitely want to go back. Just got a reminder to take out my garbage. It's garbage day, man. Got to dump the stuff. London, it's getting cold now. The last few days raining and a bit cold. Oh man, nothing wrong with that though. That's the thing about London, man. You got so many things to do. It's a big city, and you live in Georgia. You just got grassy fields and abandoned parking lots. There's not much at all in Georgia, man. Not at all. But yeah, that's on London's on my to-do. I've never been in Europe. I've never been to Europe. I've never been there. I've been all over the place. It's that's a cool place to be, man. You're lucky to live in London. That's for sure. Now, can y'all go out over there? Do they have everybody locked down where you can't do things, or can you just go out and do? Can you go out to restaurants and movie theaters and stuff, or is all that closed? Let's see. See, that's fire ants. See that anthill right there? That stuff will get all in your shoes. They'll sting you. It hurts. Actually, some people, if you get stung by enough ants, it can be very hazardous. If you roll around in an ant bed. Nas says, no, it's good here now, all open. Just need your vaccination. Yeah, that's good. It opened back up. I tell you, man, I'm ready for all this to normalize and just people say you can do what you want to do. There's too much. I'm tired of being told what I can and can't do. It's getting to be ridiculous. But yeah, man, London, I'll definitely be hitting that up here in the next few years. Do something different. I want to go back to Canada too, man. I love. You ever been to British Columbia in Canada? It's an amazing place. You got the mountains. You got all the good skiing. Super good stuff. Yeah, so the Apple event was today. World is not the same no more, and yes, brother, tired of what you can do and what that's not right. Yeah, people ought to just say, hey, do what you want to do, and don't I don't know, it's just my opinion. I think that if we're not careful, I think that most all of our freedoms, regardless of the country, most all of our freedoms will be ripped away if we just keep just bowing down to what the governing authorities throughout the world want us to say and believe. I think it's just going to be a dangerous, it's going to be a slippery slope. And that's kind of where unfortunately, where the world is heading right now. It's a shame. Nas says, yes, Canada, I'd love to go there. Niagara Falls and most other, Niagara Falls is awesome. That's a place I haven't been, but it's a place I want to go. I've been to New York City. And that's an interesting place. But of course, I was in New York for YouTube. I went to YouTube Space, and the YouTube production facility in New York, and that was really cool. That was a great experience, and it's a shame. I think Google has closed YouTube Space in New York. They did it a while back, and that was that was a disappointment, man. I mean, it was such a cool place because you could go in. They had all this equipment and everything. Walking through the parking lots of the world, man. So what's their fun? What's the fun thing to do in London? What's the most exciting thing to do there? Yeah. Gotta watch out for the traffic, man. Sometimes it gets congested. Okay, back in the grass. Ooh. I like the grass better than the parking lot. Empty fields and abandoned parking lots. That's what it's all about. So yeah, this is just one of many shows. I mean, I like the studio live shows, but sometimes doing the walk show is just cool because I get to chat with cool people like Nas, and it's just it's interesting. Just been able to interact with people from throughout the world live on YouTube. Who would have ever thought that, man? Back when we had dial-up modems, and there's some sort of bug down there, a snake. I just heard it crawling around. Gotta watch out for that. But yeah, London. Go to London Bridge. There's nice big parks like Regent Park and Hyde Park, and Her Majesty's Place is awesome. So, is the Her Majesty's Place? Is that where Queen Elizabeth II lives? Is she at the Her Majesty's Place? If you go over there, can you be like, yeah, I'd like to talk to Queen Elizabeth II. Who are you? Oh, I don't know. I flew in from Georgia. I just like to say hi, drank some tea. Yeah, I bet that's a cool place where she lives. I bet that is a cool place. So, yeah, Sony's coming out with the Sony A7 IV, the Alpha 7 Romeo 4, and that's going to be a cool camera. It's supposed to have a flip forward LCD, which will be nice, and obviously a full frame camera. So I'm excited about that. That's allegedly going to release within the next few weeks, actually. So that's going to be a cool thing here. Let's see. Yeah, A7 IV, man. Sony Alpha. Well, once you get involved with the ecosystem, I mean, I've been using Sony FE full frame lenses. I've been using those for a while, and once you get all the lenses, you don't want to switch to a different type of camera. So, it's been good to me, man. I've had created a lot of cool videos with the Sony Alpha so far. I've been using it since Sony A7R2. I did the A7R2, the A7 III, and then the A7R3, and now I use the Sony A7R4, and yeah, those are all great cameras. But I think the Sony A7 IV, again, not the resolution monster like the A7R4. R is for resolution, but allegedly it's going to have, I think it'll do 4K 60p, which is nice if you want to do, a little bit of retiming of the video. but primarily the ability to flip forward the LCD display. And then also, unlike the A7S III that only does like, I think it's 11 megapixel or so, the A7 IV allegedly will do, I think it's gonna be 33 megapixel. So, you know, still a great stills camera, obviously not the resolution monster like the A7R IV, meaning that, you know, you can do landscape and then you can crop and post. But, you know, for most use cases, if you're just going out and shooting a photo and you don't need those extra megapixels, 33 megapixels is probably going to be more than enough for most photographers. But my primary use case for the A7 IV will be, will be video. And especially with my studio set, you got to have tacos. I'm cool. Yeah, tacos are cool, man. I love tacos. Speaking of that, man, that's making me hungry, man. I want to get me some guacamole and some chicken and some ground beef, and just make a chicken and beef taco. How about that? Do it all. Man, that's a good idea. I was thinking about what am I going to eat. And I've got some beef. I don't have any chicken, but I guess I could cook up some beef and make some tacos. Sounds good. Walking across the street, watch out. Look both ways. Be careful. Be careful. Walking and walking. Haven't burned a sufficient amount of calories yet. I've only burned about 200, which is unacceptable. So I need to do, even though I like the outdoor walk because I like the fresh air, it's good to reinvigorate and also get that vitamin D. But we'll start doing the IC4 again as well. Traditionally, I do the IC4 when it's too hot to exercise outside, because I can withstand the cold. When it comes to cold weather, yeah, I'll walk in 0 degree weather. I don't care. But when it gets hot, you know, there's often a way to warm up, and you just put on additional layers. But to cool down, you know, there's only so much you can remove and stay cool. And I mean, I remember the hottest I've ever been was I was at the Jimmy Buffett concert after the BP oil spill. I was in a place called Orange Beach, or Gulf Shores rather, and he was playing on the beach. There were so many people there for this concert that I had on swim trunks. And I stood under the, you know, the little showers they have on the beach, hosed myself down. I still couldn't cool off. Nas says, yes, that's right, to see the surroundings as well. To get, yeah, I mean, you gotta, you know, it keeps you motivated. As we talked about in previous walks, the, you know, cycling was such a good thing before they had texting while driving. And, you know, you get out on a road bike and you could easily burn 30 miles, burn a ton of calories, check out the scenery. And, you know, when you pedal 15 miles out, assuming you're not doing a loop, you got to go 15 miles back. So there's no opportunity for laziness. You know, you got to get back. If you don't, what you're gonna do is just sleep on the side of the road. I mean, think about it. So that's why cycling was so good. You got the scenery, you got the breeze in your face. You know, you had a purpose. You know, you were going somewhere. Now, walking is good exercise, but if you just walk back and forth through abandoned parking lots, it can become boring unless you do a live stream. So that's why I like to live stream while I do these walks, because it just keeps it more entertaining. And you know, it is what it is. Let's see. So I'm going to turn around again. Just keeps walking. Might as well. So yeah, it's walking's good. I really prefer hiking. Hiking is great because you get to get out in the wilderness, especially with elevation gain if you're hiking in the mountains, because then you really get a workout. And you got all that weight on your back. I'm going to be doing a lot of the Appalachian Trail, so something that that I do to get back in shape, and that's with this current situation that's plagued the entire world. I've really ramped up my businesses. I operate a lot of businesses, own and operate a lot of businesses, and it's I'm enjoying talking to you too, Nas. Pleasure to have you here, all the way from London. That is really cool. But yeah, just having a balancing act, because you gotta mix fitness in. Fitness and eating is very important. And so many people neglect that, and they wonder why they get so burnt out on stuff. It's because they don't balance things out. I mean, admittedly, here, I pretty much work around the clock because I've got so many things that I operate. And you gotta throw in the exercise, because if you don't, you just get really, really unhealthy. It's like anything else. You start to get out of shape, then it just builds. You keep yourself in shape. You don't have to be like a fitness model, but in good enough shape to where you feel good. It helps with your sleep. It helps with just the overall attitude. If I don't work out, I get irritable, and I'm not an irritable person. So it's important to prioritize working out, because it promotes better sleep and a bunch of stuff. Nas says, yes, fitness and eating, that's right. Health and wealth. Yeah, health then wealth. You're right. Yeah, because it doesn't matter how much one generates if they don't have health. The wealth is irrelevant. So, you gotta make that money and have the healthy lifestyle to be able to enjoy it. Spend and reward yourself. That's the problem a lot of people have. They do all this stuff. I collaborate with a ton of entrepreneurs. I mean, on a weekly basis, and one of the trends among the most successful ones has always been, being healthy. Don't burn yourself out on any task. Keep your eyes on your bottom line. Make sure that your ventures are profitable and they continue to become more profitable, but always prioritize the fitness component, because if someone doesn't, then it can damage a lot of things. So that's why for me the fitness component is super important, because I'm not a one-trick pony. I'm not YouTube's not my only gig, man. That's just one of my many ventures, and it's good to keep that to keep the momentum going with all the ventures, but again, concurrently prioritize fitness, because it's important, especially now with this this virus or whatever's going around. I mean, if you get sick, you don't want to be out of shape. You want to be healthy enough where hopefully it doesn't even impact you. So I mean, that's another motivator to want to work out and and stay in better shape. Call came in. No problem. You're back. Nas, you're back. Hey, and don't let me take you away from your calls, man. I know that's important, but I appreciate having you on this. Appreciate you and everyone on this live stream. It really helps to support the channel for real. And remind everyone, channel memberships are available, and you can find a link below where you can become a channel member. It gives you a really cool icon when you're in chat, and also I do super chats during the live shows. Again, all of that's completely optional. What matters most to me is just people tuning in and conversing in real time, and helping my channel grow. Right now, I'm right around just shy of 84,000 subscribers, and I've got to get this sucker up past 100,000 subscribers very soon. So anybody ask them to subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/IRixGuy, because I want to achieve that miniature milestone ASAP. Number one, I want to get the trophy. It's a silver play button, so that's kind of cool. But ultimately, it's just a step towards my next goal, which is a million subscribers, and that's significant for me. You know, I'm here to entertain. I'm here to potentially educate. I'm here to speak the unfiltered truth about anything. You know, insert topic here. Speaking of that, I've got to film a video of how to unlock an interior door. You know, doors in houses that have the lock on the inside. Well, what if you lock it from the inside and close the door? How do you open it? Well, I'm about to film a how-to video for that because that provides value. And I'm sure everybody's locked one of their interior doors. So, you know, anything that you want to see, any video topics that you'd like for me to try to address within upcoming videos, I'm always all ears. I'm trying to find, you know, additional things to address. So, you know, that interior door lock, that's one of them. And obviously product reviews, product unboxings, but, you know, just whatever. I mean, you know, this is a channel that's here for everyone. You know, it's not just tutorial, it's not just travel, it's not just live shows. I mean, it's a little bit of everything, man. I mean, we talk about it all on this channel. That's true. This thing attacks your vitamin first. Yeah, talking about the virus, man. Yeah, you don't want to go into it unhealthy. I mean, that's the scary part. And yeah, it's, I don't know. Kicking a rock through the parking lot. Yeah. Why not? Best wishes, you will. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna, you know, I said I was gonna eat some tacos, but actually I just got a message, and I got some dinner waiting on me. I'm gonna go eat that dinner. We'll be doing another live show soon, so stay tuned, subscribe, ring that bell icon if you haven't, and that'll notify you whenever I post another video. Stay healthy. You know, y'all stay healthy and prioritize fitness and keep it real, y'all. Just be real. I'll see you later. It's a pleasure having you on, sir. And everybody else, tacos, thank you for tuning in and appreciate it.